Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships Legends. I'm your host, the Grizzly Gamer. Today we're going to be running the Premium American Destroyer, Tier 6, the USS Kidd. The USS Kidd is a great destroyer for hunting down other destroyers. It holds its ground against some other cruisers just as well, and it does have the torpedoes on board in case you get into a situation where you're available to do a torpedo attack on a battleship or a large cruiser. And so right here from the beginning, we see that there are two enemy destroyers on the other team. My job is to try to hunt them down and go ahead and scratch them out before they get torpedo attacks lined up on my battleships. So I'm going to push out here a little bit, see who's over here, try to spot the enemy team for my team. Hopefully once I get it spotted, the battleships behind me will deliver some good shots. Try to knock the enemy team out before they get some shots in on me. And so I'm pushing out here, don't see the destroyer yet. I do see the Nagato about 10 kilometers out. I figure if there's a destroyer around here, he's got to be close. Should be coming up on here any moment. Really don't see any signs of any cruisers being on this side of the board. My detection rating allows me to get closer to the enemy than my battleships, so hopefully they're able to kind of move up knowing that I'm clearing the way, making sure that nobody's over here. And so I get spotted. Immediately I know the Japanese destroyers got to be over here. Nobody else could have got close enough to spot me without me spotting them. Unfortunately, he decides to engage me. In my opinion, he probably should have backed off. The USS Kidd is a monster when it comes to firepower, and the Akazuki cannot compare. If he was to launch torps on me, that'd be a struggle, but as far as gun for gun, I can get 3 or 4 salvos out normally before he can get his reloaded. Although the Japanese do have good HE, their fire rate's not really all that great. And so now that I've knocked the enemy Akazuki off the board, I'm going to go ahead and hightail it out of here. I don't want to get caught by that Fiji and have him scratch me out before I have another chance to get over there and take out the other enemy destroyer. Like I said, the USS Kidd is a great destroyer for standing up against other destroyers and other cruisers, but there's a proper time and place for a stand like that against the Fiji. And I knew he'd probably be popping on his radar, so I wanted to keep that island in between me and him, maintain some cover if I can. Realistically, that battleship should be able to one-shot that cruiser, and I shouldn't have to worry about him again. And so I'm going to push out here a little bit further, and we see the Mahon spotted, hoping somebody else takes some shots on him. He's really out of my range. He's right there on our cruiser and our battleships, probably about to launch torps. I'm trying to get over there as fast as I can. See this Fiji pushing up behind me. I'm going to try to assist this battleship a little bit. I don't want to take too many shots and get knocked out too early, but it's clear that the enemy team is being very aggressive in this match, and we need to get prepared. And so from about 8 kilometers away, I go ahead and start lobbing some HE shells, trying to knock out his torpedoes, start a fire. I don't want him to get close enough to our Colorado to knock him out. Turn over, I see the Nelson over there. I know the Nelson has great HE. I'm trying to get out of his range because I know he's about to fire, and here it comes. Luckily, he misses me for the most part. I do take a hit kind of on the back part of my ship. Don't lose too many hit points, but it does knock out my steering. Fortunately for me, it remains functional enough for me to kind of still maneuver the way I need to. I see the way that Nelson's starting to come into our base. I'm going to go ahead and turn around, see if I can get acquired on him and engage him for a torpedo attack. It's not really a good situation having that Nelson pushing up on the Colorado that's over here with me, especially with that Colorado being broadside. It doesn't look like we have any more support over here on this team, on this side of the board. I guess that other battleship really put it in full steam ahead and took off, leaving us kind of to defend this side of the base by ourselves. Luckily, I'm going to do the best I can, trying to line up on this Nelson. He's coming straight at me, which is unfortunate for this torp run, but I can't get any closer because the Fiji's lurking over there. Hoping that this Colorado is going to take some decent damage out on this Nelson. I'm going to try to get a fire started. Unfortunately, that's going to let him know that I am over here. But, it's kind of one of those things, you've got to do something. We can't just let him continue to encroach upon us, because the closer he gets, the more his secondaries are going to be able to engage. And so when it comes to gunpowder and starting fires, the USS Kidd is kind of similar to the Atlanta and the Flint as far as its fire chance and its damage rate. The reload is set, I think, at like 3 seconds realistically in game. It ends up being about 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds. So once you get those shells on target, they're going to fire and they're just going to keep on coming. And so we did get 2 torpedo hits, 2 cause floodings. It looks like he went ahead and used his damage con, which means I want to get another fire started on him. That way it'll continue to burn. It looks like that battleship over there is not really in a good position. If that Nelson lands the correct shot and he has his AP loaded, he will knock that Colorado out the water. I believe the Nelson has 406mm guns, pretty large caliber for tier 6, pretty good maneuverability. You know, especially up close with that HE, I don't want to get caught. I'm going to try to fire on him as long as I can until we either lose that battleship or he starts to target me. And so I got another fire. Luckily, that's going to burn for a while, I'm sure. Waiting for my torpedoes to reload so we can get another shot on him for that. One of the small downsides to the USS Kidd is while it does have 4 torpedoes, they're all in the same launcher. Once you launch them, it's about a minute and 20 seconds, minute and 10 seconds before they're back up and running again. The damage on them is pretty decent, though. However, they do move at a pretty slow speed of about 57, 59 knots. And so because we lost our battleship that we were over here trying to save and we went detected, like I said, that close range, I did not want that Nelson to fire on me. Could have blown my ship smooth in half and out the water. I'm going to get back a little bit more, give these torpedoes just a little bit more time to get reloaded, then reacquire on him when I'm close enough to do a torpedo attack when he's giving me a broadside and hit him with most of my torpedoes, hopefully knocking him out. I've kind of radioed in for some support, like, hey, the base is coming under attack. Nobody's really coming over here paying any attention. It's really ultimately going to cost us the game, is the lack of teamwork that we kind of experienced in here. We did not have the tactical advantage to keep pushing forward, pressing the enemy. They kept pressing anyway, and the enemy started taking them out one by one, leaving me here to defend the base by myself against a battleship and a cruiser that's coming in hot and heavy. And so I set this trap here, gonna position myself in between these 2 islands. That way when I become detected and I fire my torpedoes, I can evade the Nelson and his gunfire pretty easily using the island for cover. Even though he is a battleship, he has ugly dispersion. This close, the dispersion is really not going to matter, and if he's firing HE, one of those shells has a 40% chance. If he hits me with 3 or more, he could really put me in a world of hurt. And so there he is. His guaranteed range of acquisition pops up before mine. I see him at about 3.1, 3.2 kilometers, trying to read, gauge his speed. Is he moving forward, backwards? I go ahead, take a chance to launch a little in front of him, start looking at him to get the guns acquired, and then I become detected. I'm like, uh-oh, I gotta go. Start moving out to get fired on him. He's getting his guns around to get acquired on me. Luckily, I was moving a little too quick and noticed him before he noticed me. He doesn't quite get me the way that he needs to. He does set a fire. I go ahead, burn my damage con. He gets hit with 3 torpedoes, 2 floodings, and destroys his ship. And so I'm going to start looking over here at my teammates, thinking maybe if I can get up here, help them somehow, maybe we can affect this map enough to bring a win back to our side. We're down on ships right now. We're down on points right now. It's really not looking good for us. They have a full health Colorado, another battleship and another cruiser over there. A Fiji that I assume is turning back to go back to base and support his team. And so I start pushing in, getting ready for another torp run. And like I said, the only downside about the USS Kidd is it does have 5 torpedoes, but they're all in the same torpedo launcher, so it launches all 5 at one time. It's about a minute and 30 seconds before the torpedoes will be reloaded again. And so it gives me a little bit of time to get up there into the correct position, and then bam, I see enemies are capturing our base. So I turn around like crap. That Fiji didn't turn back to base when he lost his battleship. He went ahead and pushed forward. You know, I radio in for help, letting everybody know to defend the base. The Pensacola says Roger, and then completely does not turn around. He takes off to the enemy's base, thinking he's about to cowboy at one man, take on their 2 battleships and their cruiser by himself. Immediately, I know I will not be seeing this guy at the end of the match, because there's no way he's going to get that done. Pensacola is just not the cruiser to even try to pull that off. If he would have turned around and helped me, maybe the outcome of this game might be a little different. And so luckily we weren't far from the base. We're going to go ahead and engage on this Fiji since he's popped into our acquisition range. Try to hit him, hopefully maybe get his fire started. Really the only thing we're going to kind of accomplish is setting back the capture clock, which is the good portion that we're trying to get done. And then we're going to start moving behind this island. It takes me a little bit longer to move behind the island than I wanted it to. I'm going to go ahead and engage my engine boost. And unfortunately, now that I'm on the other side of this island, I see that the Fiji has actually popped his smoke. And since he's popped his smoke, I don't know exactly where he's at. I can't hit him to continue to try to knock back the capture clock. I have to start moving in. And the unfortunate part about moving in is I have to go through the base to do it. It's going to come up contested. He's going to know relatively where I'm at, and that's not really what I want. Hopefully, he's used his radar already when he was chasing me earlier in the game, and he's not going to be able to detect me that way. But once I get within 2.5 kilometers, I think my destroyer is going to pop up regardless. I don't really remember what the guaranteed detection range is on the Fiji. It may be higher than the destroyers. Maybe it makes sense for game mechanics. Maybe in another video I'll have that for you guys. But then I see immediately that I pop up on his radar. He's gonna know where my torpedoes are. I start turning in, thinking maybe if I go straight at him and try to evade his shots, I can get behind him, and the turret speed on the Fiji is normally a little bit slower than on the other cruisers. But clearly this guy has a commander that's been leveled up. He's buffed his damage rate as far as his fire rate. So he's able to get a couple of salvos on me quickly, just about as quickly as I'm able to get on him. And he knocks me out right away. And so unfortunately now it's just up to the Nelson, since Pensacola decided not to support the team and trying to defend the base. He's coming in really close. I don't blame him. He's trying to get there quickly, and it kind of limits his options of where to go from there, knowing that Fiji has torpedoes. I'm sure that's what's coming. The Nelson does really good at the beginning of dodging the first torpedo attack. But once he gets closer and that second torpedo attack comes in, I mean, he's just too close with nowhere to go with such a big ship. So unfortunately, we lose our Nelson at that point. And it's just all left up to the Pensacola over there fighting against 2 battleships and a cruiser. And after this, Fiji gets our Nelson wiped off the board. He goes and eats up that Pensacola as well. And so when you don't play as a team, eventually the enemy team's going to come for you anyway. If everybody plays as an individual, we all get picked off one by one, and the enemy team ends up beating us anyway. And so I enjoy most of the games when we all play together, more or less, than when we play as individuals. But thanks for checking out another video for the Grizzly Gamer. If you liked the video, let me know down in the comments. If you have a certain setup that you like for your USS build, go ahead and let me know. Send me a direct message, and I'll be more than happy to share my commander setup with you. If there's enough report for it, I'll go ahead and do a commander video as well. And thanks.